Sharing with you in this video how to speed up creating your goals to make it so that whatever it is that you want to create, whatever you want to have happen in your life, you're able to put yourself in a position of leverage to be able to have it so that you have a higher probability of actually getting whatever it is that you want to get. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video, which is oftentimes something that many people will not tell you, is that really what I believe is that it's not about a technique in the external world that you're looking for if you want to speed things up in your life. Oftentimes, we're looking for the right technique, we're looking for the right book, we're looking for the right teacher, we're looking for the right coach, we're looking for the right resource, and it's like, what if nothing out there is going to ever guarantee that anything happens faster? What if there's something that you can control that is actually within your power to control, which is that the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is to create from a place of purity. That's really what I believe. That's the first thing that's going to make it so that you really are able to create what you want from a much more powerful space, because you're caring about how you're doing what you're doing, not just the result that you're getting. Oftentimes we're caught up in the result. It has to happen like this. This is what I want to happen, and it's okay. That's okay to want things in your life. You know, like if you want to create something, there's nothing wrong with having a desire. There's nothing wrong with wanting something in your life. But oftentimes we care about wanting something more than our connection to how we're doing the things that we're doing in order to get there. And you don't want to do this. You don't want to sacrifice how you're doing what you're doing on the path to getting what you want. Because my claim here is that if you do this, if you stop caring about how you're doing what you're doing just to get the result that you want, you're almost giving a piece of your soul away. You're almost giving a piece of your heart away. You're almost giving a little piece of your essence away, your life force. And it's like, why should you have to do this? It's like, I don't really believe that we need to be living our life from a space of just sort of repeating the same problems again and again, when you can be learning from your mistakes, you can be becoming better when you prioritize creating from a space of purity, actual caring about how you feel, being empathetic towards how others feel as well. And the way that, how do you develop this? How do you develop empathy? It's by actually valuing how pure you are with what you're doing, how authentic you are, how truthful you are. Are you doing it just for your intention only and only for yourself? Or are you doing it to genuinely give value and to serve the person that you're dealing with in whatever kind of relationship that you're dealing with? Because you want to come from service, you want to come from truth, you want to come from authenticity, in my personal opinion. And so the second way to, in my personal opinion, to speed up your goals, which is oftentimes seems like a paradox, it might seem backwards, but what I want to share with you is that what I invite and encourage you to do is to have a long-term thinking strategy. See, oftentimes if we want things to happen faster, we think, how can I make it happen in the fastest way? But oftentimes a really powerful quote that I learned from a mentor that I work with is to really to have an understanding that really sometimes you want to slow down to speed up. Sometimes if you want to speed up, you have to internally slow down first. Then externally you can start to speed up. But you have to slow down internally, reconnect back to your spirit, gain some space back to the present moment, and then think of a long-term strategy. You know, that's my invitation to you, is think of a long-term strategy, because really, I believe that if you can think of a long-term strategy and then you can commit to that in the long term, that's the energy, ironically, that you're going to need in order for things to happen faster for you. I believe that oftentimes when you look at a person and like what they've created and like all the success that they have, maybe you look at their history and you see some overnight success there. It's like, oh, there's, you know, some sort of overnight success that this person has. Well, really oftentimes I think that what you're neglecting is that you're neglecting all of the consistency that they put in for multiple years, possibly decades, and now you're seeing one result of an overnight success and you're thinking like, oh yeah, that's how do they get that? How do they speed up their creation process? It's like they stopped trying to speed it up and they just did the boring work every single day. And there's something sort of like mystical and divine about just doing the boring work every single day. That should excite you, you know? Like having a long-term strategy to create something in the bigger picture should be exciting for you. It should be it should make you feel happy and excited and sort of a little more electric, so to speak, towards creating whatever it is that you want. Because really, nothing good happens in your life if you just have it in like a short-term period where you didn't even work for it. Now, I'm not saying that things can't necessarily be effortless, but I believe that in order to, again, put yourself in a position where things can be effortless and are effortless, you're still gonna have to create momentum and consistency and discipline in a certain area, and then apply that, you know, most likely on a daily basis or on some consistent schedule for an extremely long period of time. And then only then are you going to be able to speed up. Because speeding up, let me sort of clarify here. Speeding up can only happen when you've already gained a certain amount of momentum to begin with. So you have to begin to start to take action in whatever it is that you want to do. Start to do it consistently, and then just, you know, don't even care about how fast you're doing it. Just be happy for doing it for its own sake. Then you're going to start to notice that you get a little bit better, and then things speed up naturally as you actually build more momentum. And to get momentum in the first place, that takes consistency. So it's almost like riding a bike, if you think about it. Like when you're riding a bike, for the first few moments, it just kind of takes some time to build momentum. At the beginning, it takes a little bit of effort to pedal. But then once you're in flow, once you're in momentum, it's just easier to pedal. You know, it's easier because the structure in the way that a bike is built is sort of as such where once you get momentum, it's easier to have consistent speed. And the same thing for driving a car as well. Like once you're at a certain speed, it's almost like hard to stop that speed. You know, you'd have to really slowly stop because you're already having so much momentum. Like if a plane is moving very, very quickly, you can't just stop. You have to slowly bring it back down to lower speed, slowly bring it down to a safe landing. You can't just stop it in one go. What this is going to actually make you realize is that building momentum is a huge key in order to be able to create whatever it is that you want to create in your life. And oftentimes, thinking in the long term can actually help you to do this. It can help you to be a little bit more committed to whatever it is that you want to do and the way that you're doing it, and then how you're actually doing what you're doing in your life. And then so the final thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually do this, how to speed up creating your goals in your life, is to really have clear decisions in your life in terms of where you're going, as well as have clear boundaries in your life in terms of what you do not tolerate. See, because I really believe that if you say yes to one thing, you're definitely saying no to something else. And it doesn't mean that on an existential level that lack exists. You shouldn't feel scared of lack, but it's like oftentimes we're very scattered in our energy. I think that people are very scattered. I think that people are not committed. I think that people have a lack of discipline. Many people can have a lack of discipline. And I think that the way to overcome this challenge is to really start to realize that what you want to start to do is just to have clear decisions on who you are. Make a clear decision, make a clear intention on who you're being, what identity you're embodying in this present moment, as well as what is misaligned with that. Look, if you want to become this new person in your life, what is it in your life that's just non-negotiable? Like, you know, deep in your heart, you have to remove it out of your life completely. You have to stop playing games. You have to cut it out of your life. And then, like, what is that thing that you know you have to remove in order to actually be the person that you want to actually be in your life? Like, what is it in your life? Because oftentimes, if we're not honest about what that thing is, what begins to happen is that it's never going to give us the capacity and the ability to actually speed up creating whatever it is that you actually want to create, because you're just always stuck in sort of like this scattered mindset of committing to one thing, and then you're committed to something else, and then you committing back to that thing. And it's like, how are you supposed to build momentum in your life? How are you supposed to build any kind of security or consistency of any kind if you're consistently jumping from one thing to the next? Now, I'm not saying that you can't multitask multiple different tasks in your life. That's not what I'm saying. I think having multiple streams of income, having multiple projects in your life, focusing on many different things in your life, having different things that you're focusing on is very good. I want to be able to focus on one thing long enough to actually be able to build some kind of momentum and consistency, because if you don't give one thing enough attention for a long period of time, you're not even going to be able to give yourself the opportunity to build any kind of momentum, to build any sort of consistency whatsoever, and then that's not going to help you to speed up anything. Like, that's not going to help you to create more of anything, because you're just going to be stuck in a scattered state of mind. So I highly invite and encourage you to pair creating from a space of purity with that long-term thinking, as well as be clear on who it is that you want to be. And that's going to help you to make things happen in your life, I believe, in a faster way, to be able to actually have these things happen in your life so that there's a higher probability that it's actually going to arrive into your life in the fastest way possible.